Good evening and welcome to A Course in Miracles, Workbook Lesson 181. Now, the course takes a deepening direction now. It goes lighter and really starts to solidify the non-dual understanding or the unity consciousness. Remember, when I say consciousness, I'm talking of the realm of the characters in the dreaming mind that move in layers of awakening. So until they get to a stage of awakened consciousness, and then bridge consciousness, which is when we start to become aware of awareness itself as the all-pervading essence of ourself, our Christ mind, our shared essence with God. And beyond that, you cannot speak. And if we try and conceptualize it, we would simply say we move into the awareness of awareness itself, and that's all there is. So these next 20 lessons from 181 to lesson 200 is really a deepening of our non-dual or unity understanding. And we go into some profound moments of clarity through this divine teaching. I trust my brothers who are one with me. Now, obviously, this is using the masculine because it's using biblical language, but really it means I trust my fellow man, siblings, everybody in the world, because they're one with you. They are fractured parts of your one dreaming mind. One mind is asleep. That mind is the Son of God's mind is asleep. God is not asleep. We're not going into that Advaita school of thought where it says God is dreaming us up. No. God extends himself energy, and energy are cells of light, and one cell of light, I'm using analogies, concessions to explain something which cannot be explained. One cell, one part of God is asleep, fell asleep and dreamt of nothing, dreamt of a dream, which became a universal distortion. Really, that's all it is, a universe of distorted thoughts that have appeared to take form. And so we go into first dreamer position. We move into 0 point consciousness. 0 point meaning at the moment of falling asleep. The I that fell asleep, the I am which awakens, is the I which fell asleep and dreamt of itself as 9 septillion little I's, little thoughts that took form. And so in each one of us is the memory of the I, Christ mind, that fell asleep. And it is this I that trusts my brothers. Why? Because my brothers are all activities of the I who dreams dream. Trusting your brothers is essential to establishing and holding up your faith in your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself, conviction as to what you truly are. And it speaks of faith, not belief. You can only believe in what you don't know. So you believe in what you don't know. And therefore, belief is a very sorry excuse for what is true. You may believe it's true, doesn't make it true. You may have 8 billion people believing it, it doesn't make it true. The world believes the sky is blue when the sun shines. Yet, although you believe it's blue, it is not blue. It's your perception is of that it's blue. The sky has no color. And so faith is placed in what is unknown by the 5 senses. Yet deep within, there's a knowing that you're placing your faith in truth. You're placing your faith in your true self ultimately. And yes, your true self is the self-same essence as the Christ mind dreaming, which is the self-same essence as God's essence. When you attack a brother, so you're attacking a character in your dreaming mind. So imagine you're asleep at night, you have this incredible dream, you're walking down the streets of Johannesburg, and there's 1 million people around, and you see yourself localized in your dream, and now you're attacking the other dream characters. Hang on. You're asleep in your bed, you've dreamt up yourself in the streets of Johannesburg, you and 1 million other people, and now you're attacking them. You're attacking aspects of yourself, projections of yourself in your own dream. So when you attack a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him. So perception is the realm of dream. Perception is the realm of error. It's the original sin, the perception of good and evil. Good and evil, duality. The perception of I and you, or I and them. There's a split off. Adam, as asleep, dreams himself split. Eve, duality. Them, duality. Okay. So you're now, he's limited by what you perceive in him, and therefore you must be limited by perception. You do not look beyond these errors. Rather, they are magnified. They become blocks to your own awareness of self, the capital S self, the true essence of what you are, that lies beyond your own mistakes, untouchable, innocent, unchanging, and past his seeming sins as well as yours. An attack means when you condemn someone, when you criticize someone, when you mock someone, make fun of them, judge them, complain about them, that is an attack thought. Even spiritual people have this thing, well, they're not as awake as we are. They're not as conscious. They're a lower level consciousness. How do you know what level consciousness a person is? Can you tell by his appearance? Does he need to wear an orange robe and shave his head for you to recognize higher consciousness? I can tell you, I've met many a Buddhist monk and Taoist monk and in the Himalayas who are so spiritual looking, and all they want to do is watch football and shag something. Completely unconscious. They meditate all day long, they hum all day long, they do their mantras all day long. They're just there because their parents dropped them off, couldn't feed them, and now they're stuck in this. To them, it's like a jail sentence. Don't ever assume that someone is spiritual because of how they speak or how they smile and put their hands together and pose for photographs, meditating and looking so holier than thou. Facade is illusion. Truth is known inside. And as you judge, so you are judged. As a man judges, so he is judged. By whom? By God? No, by your own judgments. Your judgments of the world become judgments of yourself, and how you judge the world is how you will ultimately hold yourself as obstacles to peace. Perception has a focus. Awareness does not. Awareness is all-encompassing. There's no focus. It's all-embracing. There's no singularity. For focus is bringing about singularity. You take the essence of everything and you focus on, you split parts of it off, and then you name those separate parts and you focus upon them. To awaken means to let go of focus. Perception has a focus, awareness does not. It is this that gives consistency to what you see, because you chose to see it. Change but this focus, soften it, and what you behold will change accordingly. Your vision, not sight, vision is from in the realm of imagination. It's the creative realm, the realm of spirit. Your vision will now shift to give support to that intent which has replaced the one you held before. Still in the realm of conscious dreaming, because you're still intent, but at least it's now coming from a place of love as opposed to coming from a place of judgment. Remove your focus on your brother's sins, his errors, what you dislike about him, what you criticize him for, and you experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness. Faith in sinlessness. Because when you focus on a brother's sins, you're putting filters into the light of the awareness you both are. And the minute you put the filter there, the filter gets mirrored back at you and peace is lost. It's not that you ever removed from peace or the awareness in which you abide. It's just you've blocked out the sun. The clouds of judgment have blocked out the sun from the awareness of the Father's light. This faith receives its only sure support from what you see in others past their sins. You want faith in sinlessness. You want faith in your divine essence. Do not look upon through judging eyes. for their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to sins in you, errors in you. In this course, we don't believe in sin. Sin is simply error, to miss the mark. To sin is to miss the mark, an error in perception. And you will not transcend their sight and see the sinlessness that lies beyond and eternally forever. Therefore, in practicing today, we first let all such little focuses give way to our great need to let our sinlessness become apparent, clear in our understanding. We instruct our minds that it is this we seek, and only this, for just a little while, because it cannot be maintained perpetually while we're in form. It'll come and go. But in this exercise, we're instructing ourselves to choose right-mindedness, choose to see for a little while another way until vision replaces sight completely. We do not care about future goals. So we're doing this exercise in the here, now, present. And what we saw an instant previous has no concern for us within this interval of time wherein we practice changing our intent. Our intent was originally, we intend to capture, gain, acquire to make us happy. We now extend our true essence, our true self, the loving, peaceful, joyous self we are. We extend it now. The intention is from gain to share. We seek for innocence and nothing else. So if we share our innocence, we look for innocence, and we thus see innocence. We seek for it with no concern, but now, be present now, which means we're not ascribing past what he, she, them did. So for in the history of man, we return to now. A major hazard to success has been involvement with your past and future goals. How they failed or succeeded you and you no longer have them, or how you really succeeded great and you hope that it's going to be like it in the future, but something's gone wrong, or how horribly it failed and how horribly you think it's going to fail. You have been quite preoccupied with how extremely different the goals this course is advocating are from those you held before. It's saying to have is to be, and to be is to have, and to give is to know you have, and to give to all is to receive from all, because you only give to the one self dreaming up a stream. It's very different from a world of scarcity where you gain, someone else loses. And you've also been dismayed by the depressing and restricting thought that even if you should succeed, you will inevitably lose your way again. And this is important, and I'll pause here for a second. When we first come upon the non-dual understanding, or as we move into a higher level of awareness, and we seem to be moving in steps of awareness, there's a stage where when you realize the non-dual reality for the first time and the pranic breath, and it's like, wow, and there's your mind just is blown. In other words, it goes quiet, no thoughts, and it seems to last for maybe a week, even a month or 3, and it's just so amazing, and you just realize the unity connection to all of it, the one indivisible whole. And then it seems to recede, and you start to think you've lost it. Stop. You haven't lost it. You've become accustomed to higher awareness. And if it seems to fade, it's because there's still lighter, there's still deeper to go. And now you start to seek, and if you start to seek, you lose it. Because the minute you start to seek for it, you're actually saying, I don't have it. And then instantly it's lost, not in truth, but in your awareness. It's lost from your conscious awareness. It can never be lost. And so like ebbs and tides, it comes and goes, but you are still contained in that which is awareness itself, that which is God's essence itself. So don't get trapped that you think you've lost your way again. You cannot lose yourself. You can lose the memory of yourself, but the memory will come back. And how could this matter? For the past is gone, the future but imagined. And the past is imagined too. These concerns are but defenses, egoic defenses against present change of focus in perception to awareness, nothing more. We lay these pointless limitations by a little while. We do not look on to past beliefs, and what we will believe will not intrude upon us now. We enter in the time of practicing with one intent, to look upon the sinlessness within. Because unless you go within, you cannot see the same without. To recognize that we have lost this goal, and we recognize if we have lost this goal, if anger blocks our way in any form. So the minute an emotion comes in and you feel the indignation of the unfairness of this world, or the ridicule of people, places, things, and events, the minute you're in resistance to, you've lost it. You lost the awareness of it. You cannot lose awareness because you're not creating awareness. You abide in awareness. This is true samadhi. This is being, the all-encompassing being, which is the one indivisible, one holy self, holy God. And if a brother's sins occur to us, our narrowed focus will restrict our sight because it's the block, and turn our eyes upon our own mistake. Remember, we're projecting the world. Everybody in it is a projection of our oneself. And so we project, and we turn our eyes to it, and we focus on the error, not realizing what's happening is we're looking at snow with blue sunglasses, and so the snow appears blue. Snow is lily white, sinless, innocent, defenseless, and unchanging. The minute you put a color in it, so the snow appears. The minute you put an error judgment in it, so the sin appears, which we will magnify and call our sins, because now we're looking back on ourselves. So for a little while, without regard to past or future, should such blocks arise, we will transcend them with realizing they're not there, with instructions to our minds, to our thinking thoughts, to change their focus, as we say. It is not this that I would look upon. I trust my brothers who are one with me, extensions of my one self, our one self, which is our shared self with our divine creator. And we will also use this thought to keep us safe throughout the day. We do not seek for long-range goals. We are present here now. And each obstruction seems to block the vision of our sinlessness. We seek but for our cerise, an instant from the misery focus upon sin will bring. So the minute we cease judgment, judgment ceases. But if we cease judgment to judge another way, then all we're doing is replacing one filter with another. What we're trying to do in this exercise is cease all judgment, all perception, so that we realize perception is what prevents us from knowing. Perception is like a belief. It's a filter that gets us to believe in what we do not know in a way we can never know, because it's trying to make known the unknown. We're not trying to make known the unknown. We're not trying to make manifest. We are simply trying to remember what was always true. And it's always here now, this holy instant. And so an instant from the misery focus upon sin will bring. The minute you focus on sin, it can only bring you misery. The minute you focus upon error, it can only bring. So imagine you're seeing this world, and it's so easy to get trapped, especially if there's brutality of this world. Someone's being raped, a woman's been raped, or a child's been hurt or abused, or an animal is being hurt. It's so easy to go into the pain, because we feel the loss of innocence. And what we're meant to do is center and realize, my love goes out to this, my care goes out to this, but I will not be trapped back into the suffering, emotional suffering, which appears to be the suffering of the world. Because if I see a suffering world, I suffer with it. But if I rise above the world and share with it my joyous being, I lift the world out of suffering. And it's vital and it's difficult, because those of us that travel on the spiritual path are deeply connected, are deeper, are more empathetic than others. And so we get trapped by emotions, trapped by sensations, trapped by the suffering of the world. So if the world is suffering and you're suffering with the world, how do you pull the world out of suffering? How do you rise above the battlefield and lift the world out of the battlefield with yourself? You have to, for an instant, cease the projection and the belief in pain, fear, sin, and guilt. Because if you don't, the uncorrected will remain uncorrected, and you will keep suffering the pain of this world. And if you leave this world in this lifetime with the pain of the world on your heart, you will return to correct it. Don't do that to yourself. Nor do we ask for fantasies, the exact opposite of the suffering. So we either have the suffering of the world, and the empaths love the suffering of the world and the suffering themselves, and the long-suffering Jesus that becomes their Messiah, or the long-suffering guru and the sins of the world, or they seek for fantasy, the transcendence, the mind over matter. To look how amazing people are who transcended cancer, who transcended disease, and look how well they live and abide in the world, and it's all just this opposite side of the same coin. Some would just want to glorify themselves and look at me. It's such a wonderful life, and I walk in the mountains and I walk on the ocean, and I don't work a 9-to-5 corporate life, and I'm so enlightened and I'm so liberated from this world. Count your blessings and stop judging the world. Stop judging the rest. Everybody's playing the exact same role they're supposed to play. If you think they can change it in any other way, change is just illusionary. True shift, true change is the realization I am. You don't change anything on the outside. You have to change careers. You don't have to go sit outside and walk in nature. That's all egoic transcendence principles. Yes, it feels better for a while, but after, I promise you, 5 years of long walks on the beach, you'll be bored. And you need company. And I tell you what, misery seeks company, because awakening is very happy on its own. So don't you ever start to believe that you now have a fantastical spiritual life because you do yoga and meditation and you prana breathe and you're a vegan, librarian, vegetarian, tree-hugging animal, furry animal, loving, ascended disaster master. You're just kidding yourself with egoic bullshit concepts. The true self is itself knowingly. Chop wood, fetch water, feed the kids. Same thing. For what we seek to look upon is really there. It's just hidden through people, places, things, and events. And as our focus goes beyond mistakes, we will behold a holy, sinless world. Here it's an illusion. It's a hologram. What's really there? Pure light. When seeing is all we want to see, when this is all we seek for in the name of true perception, are the eyes of Christ inevitably ours. Now, the problem with reality, the world's bullshit reality, is especially this realm of group spiritual, which is the biggest bullshit concept of them all. So spiritual. And I'm yoga and blah, 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 and you judge the rest of the world. There is nothing in this world which is spiritual. We are not spirits having a human experience. Oh, we once thought we're humans having a spirit experience. No, we're spirits having a human experience. No, absolutely not. We're one mind dreaming. The end. And spiritualize this bullshit. So if you wanted to use the word spirit, we're one spirit dreaming. We're not spirits having a human experience. We're one mind having a human experience. A universal experience. One dreaming mind. And make yourself special. You're not special. No matter how many blue books you've consumed, no matter how many gold writings you've chewed up, you're not spiritual. You're not special. None of us are, certainly not this rogue. When seeing is all we want to see, and there's a wonderful teaching. I think it was the Buddha. Or was it Krishna? And said, seek for understanding, seek for liberation, seek for clarity. Like a man whose hair is on fire seeks a river of water. Seek ye first the kingdom above all else, and all else shall be given you. Forget about all else shall be given you. You won't want all else once you have full liberation, because you realize you have everything. The problem with this world is we want to practice spiritual. It's not a practice. It's a knowing. It's an all-encompassing. You can't practice yoga and spiritual in the morning and spiritual in the evening. Meditation in the morning and prana at night, or yoga or tai chi or whatever, qi gong, gong gong. You're aware or you're not. You're aware or you're asleep. You're choosing to awaken or you're choosing to sleep and label yourself as spiritual. And the love he feels for us, true self, becomes our own as well when we choose to be here now, ourself knowingly, totally authentic to whatever is playing through this appearance. Not trying to hide your feelings, not trying to hide your thoughts, but no longer giving them the power over your awareness. Awareness becomes all-pervading, no focus, realizing the connectedness to everything, attachment to nothing, including outcome. This will become the only thing we see reflected in the world and in ourselves, for the world is a reflection of ourselves asleep until it becomes a knowing of our capital S self awake as the extension of God's eternal essence. The world, which once proclaimed our sin, becomes the proof we are sinless. Liberation. What is liberation? No longer attached. And the love for everyone we look upon attests to our remembrance. We once again a member of that which we are. Our remembrance of the holy capital S self, which knows no sin and never could conceive of anything without its sinlessness. We seek for this remembrance as we turn our minds to practicing today. We look neither ahead nor backwards. We look straight into the present, here now. So in other words, we stop looking, we abide. And we give our trust to the experience we ask for now. Now we move into faith. And faith is beyond understanding. Don't try and understand it. Thy will be done. Our sinlessness is but the will of God. And what we once had a will, we have no will. It's the thought that we had a will that made this mess we have. You have no free will, because free will is the liberated will of thy will be done. This instant is our willing one with God's will, because God's will is all there is, for God is all there is. Be here now. Be as you are. Be authentic. Be innocent. Be defenseless. Be curious. Be thyself knowingly. Blessings and grace.